The examination room of the Interstellar Veterinary Clinic hummed with the soft glow of medical scanners, their blue light casting ethereal shadows across the walls. Dr. Lisa Chen stood at the edge of the room, her medical pad clutched tightly in her hands, watching as Jackson Morrison cradled the massive head of his dragon companion against his chest. Zephyr, a Draconis stellaris from the mining colonies of Kepler 442b, lay stretched across the reinforced floor, her crystalline scales dulled to a lifeless gray. Once, those scales had shimmered with the colors of distant nebulae, purples, blues, and silvers that shifted with her emotions. Now they looked like ash. "I can't watch her suffer anymore," Jackson whispered, his voice cracking. His hands trembled as they stroked the ridge above Zephyr's enormous eye. 3 months. 3 months of watching her fade. Lisa had seen countless cases since humanity had spread across the stars and encountered the myriad species that called the galaxy home. Dragons, despite their fearsome reputation in human mythology, had proven to be among the most loyal companions any species could bond with. But they were also among the most mysterious. Even after 2 centuries of coexistence, human xenobiology still struggled to understand their unique physiology. "The neural degradation is terminal," Lisa said softly, reviewing the scans for the 100th time. "Her synaptic pathways are collapsing. It's similar to what humans would call Alzheimer's, but it's affecting her entire nervous system. She's in pain, Jackson. I know this is hard, but I know." Jackson's tears fell freely now, landing on Zephyr's snout. The dragon's nostril flared weakly, steam rising in a thin wisp. I need a moment. Please." Lisa nodded and stepped back, giving them privacy. She had prepared the Euthanasia serum, a painless compound that would shut down Zephyr's massive heart within seconds. It was the humane thing to do, the only thing to do. Jackson pressed his forehead against Zephyr's jaw, and the dragon, with what seemed like her last reserve of strength, lifted her head slightly. Her massive foreleg, each claw the size of a human arm, moved slowly, deliberately. She wrapped it around Jackson, pulling him closer in an embrace that spoke of years of shared adventures, of trust forged in the depths of asteroid mines and the silence of space stations. "I love you, girl," Jackson sobbed. "Thank you for everything. Thank you for saving me from that collapse on Titan. Thank you for warming me during the long haul to Andromeda Station. Thank you for being my family when I had nothing else." Lisa felt her own eyes burning with tears. She had to be professional, but moments like these reminded her why she had chosen this career. The bond between species, the love that transcended biology, it was beautiful and heartbreaking in equal measure. She approached with the injector, her movements careful and respectful. "Jackson, when you're ready." But then something caught her eye. The medical scanner on the wall had flickered, its readings suddenly spiking. Lisa froze, her gaze locked on the display. Zephyr's neural activity, which had been steadily declining for weeks, was suddenly surging. But it wasn't random. There was a pattern, a rhythm that looked almost intentional. "Wait," Lisa said sharply, holding up her hand. She rushed to the console, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. "Wait, Jackson, don't move!" Jackson looked up, confusion and hope warring on his tear-stained face. "What? What is it?" Lisa's heart pounded as she pulled up comparison scans, cross-referencing them with the xenobiology database. Her breath caught in her throat. "Oh my God! Oh my God, she's not dying!" "What are you talking about?" Jackson's voice rose in desperate hope. The scans showed what looked like neural degradation, but that's because we were reading them wrong." Lisa's hands shook with excitement as she turned to face them both. "Humans have been studying dragons for 200 years, but we've never documented this because it's so rare." Jackson, Zephyr isn't dying. She's evolving. Evolving? Lisa nodded frantically, pulling up a research paper from the archives of the Draconic Studies Institute on Mars. Dragons go through a metamorphic neural restructuring every few centuries. It's like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, but on a neurological level. Her old neural pathways are dissolving because new ones are forming, more complex ones. She's ascending to a higher cognitive state. Jackson stared at her, then down at Zephyr, whose eye had opened wider, a spark of the old intelligence gleaming within. But the pain is real, yes. It's agonizing, which is why most dragons isolate themselves during this process. But Zephyr didn't. She stayed with you. Lisa's voice grew soft with wonder. She trusted you enough to be vulnerable during the most critical transformation of her life. That embrace wasn't goodbye, Jackson. It was her way of anchoring herself through the pain. Your presence, your bond, it's been keeping her grounded through the worst of it. The room fell silent except for the steady beeping of monitors. Then, slowly, deliberately, Zephyr's scales began to shift. Color rippled across her body like dawn breaking over an alien horizon, no longer the simple blues and purples of before, but something far more complex. Patterns emerged that seemed to contain depth and dimension, as if entire galaxies swirled beneath her crystalline surface. Her eyes opened fully, and for the first time in months, they burned with fierce intelligence. But there was something more now, something ancient and knowing that hadn't been there before. When she looked at Jackson, it was with an understanding that transcended their previous bond. Lisa stepped back, her medical pad forgotten. She was witnessing something that perhaps only a handful of humans in history had ever seen, a dragon's transcendence. Jackson's laugh was half sob, half joy as he wrapped his arms around Zephyr's neck. You scared me, you big lizard. You scared me so badly. A rumble emerged from Zephyr's chest, deeper and more resonant than before. When she moved, it was with newfound grace and power. The weakness that had plagued her for months had vanished, replaced by vitality that seemed to radiate from her very being. Lisa found her voice, though it came out as barely a whisper. The bond between humans and dragons. We thought we understood it, but this... She gestured to the scene before her. This proves that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our expansion across the stars. It's our capacity to love and be loved by being so different from ourselves, to stand by them through transformation and pain. That's what makes us remarkable. That's what makes us human. Jackson looked up at her, his face radiant with joy and relief. So what happens now? Lisa smiled, her professional composure finally cracking into pure, unfiltered happiness. Now you get to experience a whole new chapter with your companion. A transcendent dragon is said to live for millennia, Jackson. And their cognitive abilities... She shook her head in wonder. We barely understand what they're capable of. But one thing is certain. Zephyr chose you to stand beside her through this. That bond is unbreakable now. Zephyr's wings unfurled, no longer weak and trembling, but strong and magnificent, spanning the entire room. The crystalline membranes caught the light, refracting it into 1,000 colors that painted the walls with living rainbows. In that moment, in a small veterinary clinic on a space station orbiting a distant world, a human and a dragon proved once again why humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through conquest or domination, but through the simple, profound act of refusing to give up on those they loved. And the galaxy, vast and ancient as it was, took notice of humanity's greatest strength, a heart that could embrace even a dying dragon and find, instead of an ending, a new beginning written in starlight and scales. The end.